So you just bought a bottle of DIY Detail ceramic coating, now what?
My name is Ivan.
I'm Nick.
And this is DIY Detail. We have a 2001 Porsche Boxster. It's actually looking pretty good, but it's dull. It needs life brought back to the paint.
Not only are we gonna get rid of the bug guts, right? Because this needs a good wash, a good thorough decontamination.
Yeah.
We're gonna polish it, we're gonna ceramic coat it, we're gonna show you how easy and simple this is. So simple, in fact, that we're only gonna use a hose on some nasty wheel brake dust.
Right. No need for a big hose. And when you have one of these soft tops, pressure washer is not your friend. So you never want to aim your pressure washer at one of these unless you have a very, very low pressure dispersed nozzle. So we're gonna clean the top just with Rinseless. But the rest of it, we're gonna clean it, we're gonna decontaminate it, and we're gonna polish it, and we're gonna give this Porsche a new smile.
And it's such a tiny vehicle that we're gonna do this very quickly, give you a little confidence at home if you've never used a ceramic coating, or if you're just curious kind of how our lineup works, some of our tips and tricks. Ivan's always got a nugget or two that I'm learning from every time.
So there we go. We're gonna start off, Nick, on the wheels, we know there's brake dust on these. We know that they could definitely benefit from iron remover.
So are we gonna use any all clean, or are we gonna go right to the iron remover?
Well, we're gonna put the iron remover on first, and then the all clean second.
Iron remover can be used as a lubricant when you're using our decontamination towel.
Yeah,
it's also amazing for your wheels.
Definitely. Look at that back wheel, it's already purple.
Oh yeah, it's getting purple real fast. Yeah, when you see the purple, you know that it's doing its job.
Right. So we're gonna put this on here, and then after it's sat for a second or two, you can add the all clean on there, Nick.
Wow.
And then we can do our brushing and cleaning of the wheels.
If you don't have an IK foamer, this is mixed at 15:1. It also comes in our 16-ounce bottle at that dilution. So if you just bought the bottle, you can just spray it on with a trigger, not a big deal. Foam does clean better every time a bubble bursts. Essentially, it's kind of agitating the surface, right? It's introducing new all clean to the surface, but just in case you don't have the fancy IK foamer,
it's not the end of the world.
This is pretty fun though. I suggest investing in a foamer or a sprayer if you're gonna be washing your car at home a lot, but again, you don't need it.
So Nick, these barrels were black. They almost look painted black.
I don't know what it is about this car, but I had some nasty barrels that I used to detail for a mobile client.
Yeah.
And they were a nightmare. Probably means they've been having fun driving the car.
Inner wheel bucket, we've got a bit of all clean. And I just love these 5-spoke wheels. They're so easy to clean.
They are, huh?
You have good access to the barrels. You only have 5 nice wide spokes. Probably the only wheels easier to clean than this are old Renaults with the 3-spoke design. While Nick is attending to that last wheel, I'm gonna start with our little sprayer here, the keg sprayer. Always a great tool to have. Again, if you don't have this, you can just take a spray bottle and spray it on by hand, but we have it, might as well use it. Spraying it down with a rinseless wash solution of 256:1. It's gonna help break down some of that grime, that dirt, and at the same time, emulsify those insects at the front.
In the meantime, I'm gonna use as little water as possible just to get these wheels rinsed off.
Look at the dirt that came off this Porsche. The sponge is black. I'm just gonna touch it to the surface of the rinseless bucket, rinse it out, and look at it now.
No pressure on the Legacy sponge.
None at all.
Letting the rinseless wash and the sponge do what they do best, which is provide all that padding for that even amount of pressure, which is none at all. But that's the insurance policy, right? And then you've got all the little grooves of the sponge that catch some of that debris.
Yep. Providing a lot of lubrication. Just glides along the paint. Unfortunately, a lot of Porsche enthusiasts sort of shun the Boxster for some reason. Yes, it's not a 911. Yes, it's not the most powerful vehicle on the road, but it's actually a lot of fun to drive.
What do y'all think of Boxsters? Driving them, cleaning them? Leave your comments below on the vehicle you see here on screen.
And recently in the shop, we've had a lot of big trucks. It's nice to have a small car.
Variety is the spice of life, Ivan.
Yeah. So, on the roof, normally we squeeze out the sponge, but in this case, I'm not squeezing it out. I'm bringing as much liquid as I can to flood the top.
Did you wash the passenger door already?
No.
Okay.
Front fender, yes. Passenger door, no. And next, we have the decontamination towel. Perforated, synthetic decontamination towel. Now, if you have a brand new towel, you need to break it in on glass. This is not a new towel, has a bit of experience. But if you have a new one, break it in on glass, and that's the only time we authorize you to use pressure on your towel, is on glass.
Now, otherwise, we usually use the iron remover as a lubricant here.
Right.
We're just using the rinseless wash.
Right.
The logic there.
We're not wanting to rinse the vehicle afterwards, so that's why we don't want to use the iron remover. And honestly, yes, the wheels had a lot of iron contamination on them, but the body doesn't. We did a test spot on the other side, so no need to worry. And the reason we're not spraying or trying to use the least amount of water possible, we're in a closed environment. It's very hot outside. It's even hotter inside. Our air conditioning has decided to leave us.
It's a wild ride. So these bug guts, they're coming off, right?
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna flip my towel pretty often, and when I'm done with these four sides, I'm just gonna rinse it under some water, because I am getting some chunky bug guts coming off onto the towel here. And we will be polishing afterwards. So that's sort of what's happening here. If you're like, how are you doing that without a hose? For example, I've used all four sides. There's a lot of bug guts right here on this license plate, and I'm just gonna go for it. And then after that, I'll go ahead and rinse this off, or dunk it back in the wash bucket, because we're all done washing.
Yeah.
Just so that if I were to touch paint again with this towel, it wouldn't be filled with the bugs. They'd have a place to go, and you'd be ready to rock and roll again.
So very little contamination on the vehicle. We don't feel anything through the towel.
No drying aid today.
No drying aid because we are going to be polishing the vehicle and ceramic coating it. And we don't want to be leaving some form of protection behind for no reason.
You could use panel prep here if you wanted to as a drying aid, but it's not necessary.
No. But we will be using panel prep soon enough. And did we mention how much we like working on small cars?
We're almost done.
Yeah.
Oh, and I can see the swirls now on the paint now that it's clean.
Oh yeah, it's not going to be a luxury to polish this car.
It needs it for sure.
Yeah. But it's in the right place. Since you have that big twist loop drying towel, the roof is all yours. Before the wheels dry anymore, I'm just going to take a second, add a little ceramic gloss to the mix, use my drying towel, and dry off the wheel faces.
For this soft top to fully dry, it's going to take some time. Now, if we put it out in the sun, it would dry a lot faster, but
yeah,
it's going to be wet for a while.
In here with our extremely high humidity, yes, it's going to be wet. If you're thinking of these Swiss track floors, they're really nice. They do a good job, but they hold a lot of water.
They keep it humid when your air conditioning
decides to take a holiday.
Yeah, then you kind of notice that part of it.
Yeah.
So Ivan's doing the wheels, and I am looking at the swirls in this paint. Ivan, this is a Porsche. It's got deep, heavy swirls. We know that Porsche paint's typically hard.
Exactly.
It might actually, we were thinking yellow waffle. I think this might be a nice time to use the wool pad in the gold standard polish.
I think you're right. That's a good, good suggestion.
It'll give us plenty of cut with the wool.
Yep.
And that silver finish is gonna be pretty forgiving in terms of how it's gonna finish down. Because you can often get a great finish with the wool. Certain paints might say, it looks a little hazy. I want that yellow waffle to really get that final gloss. But I don't know, Ivan, is that just in my head?
No, I think this is a great candidate for that. And like you say, the paint is swirled up. It needs a bit more love than maybe the foam pad can give it, but we don't want to do 2 steps on it either. And we don't want to go too deep. This is original paint. It's a 22-year-old car. We want to respect that. We want to respect that for 78,000 miles, they've been able to keep the factory paint on here. We want to keep the factory paint as much as possible as well. Tools in hand, pad washer on the floor, gold standard polish, gold standard wool cutting pad. Let's make this Porsche shine. And Nick, I had a viewer ask me why we don't put those fancy covers over the tires when we're polishing.
I like the fancy covers.
Well, we don't need to though.
Not with the gold standard polish.
Right, we're not slinging polish everywhere, we're not getting dust, so there's no need to put the fancy covers on. We can actually be done with the wheels. We could put tire shine on right now if we wanted to, and we'd still be good.
It's a beautiful thing, folks. No dusting on this polish. Tons of working time.
Normally we don't wipe off until we're done, but just doing a little test spot here. And yes, Nick, your suspicion was 100% correct. This is looking spectacular.
Normally we just kind of one step it and fly because we have such a great system to shine up paint. But I was sort of curious what this combo could accomplish. Ivan, it's almost perfect, man.
Oh, it is.
Oh, it looks so good.
Yeah, this hard German paint combined with the wool pad, the gold standard, we have a winning formula here.
Woo! Ivan, it's very rare that you put this little effort in for such a big reward.
Right, and this one will be an amazing reward. We saw with the test spot just how much additional gloss we're getting.
And we both kind of got in the zone too. You could tell we were enjoying it.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, I enjoy everyone, like, let's be honest, we're cleaning cars, love this stuff. But we don't often go for perfection on this channel, for good reason, right? You have a finite amount of clear coat. Perfection is impossible anyway, and it can eat away a lot of your life. But we dang near got there on this paint with a one step, you know, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely, you know, the results are there. And once we put the 5-year coating on it, well,
Watch out, world.
We know we're gonna get amazing gloss, because that's what our 5-year coating does. Being very methodical on the wipe off, we want to make sure we're getting all the polish residue off. Yes, the paint prep step will also do that, but the more we do here, the less the paint prep has to do, and the better the results. Some young kid who's only known electric vehicles at some point is going to look at this Porsche and go, look, it has a charging port.
I've started to apply tire lotion to make these tires look amazing before we ceramic coat, but you're doing panel prep. Talk about that process, why we do that.
So the panel prep is just to make sure we're getting everything off the paint and getting it ready for the ceramic coating. And the way panel prep is applied, I spray it on one towel, and before it can dry, I wipe it with another. And what that's doing is lifting up whatever greases or oils or whatever could be on the surface, and before it dries, I'm wiping them away, because now they've been floated on the top of the panel prep. If I wait for it to dry, there's a good chance that it can settle back into the paint. And we're not spraying the vehicle down with panel prep. First of all, big waste of product, but secondly, you're not gonna get better results. You're actually gonna get possibly staining on some things. You should never really spray a chemical, especially a solvent, on a surface. And when we're done with this Porsche, it's gonna think it's 2001 all over again.
It's gonna look better than new. Come on now.
The owner for sure is going to be happy. It doesn't take much to bring back that love you once had for a vehicle. It was looking faded, it was looking dull, and now it's back to its shiny glory.
Maybe the love wasn't gone. It
No.
had just faded.
Exactly.
And you gotta admit, I know they look a little wet, but that tire shine does give it a pop.
Oh, it does.
Our tire lotion here.
And it will level off. Now, if someone wanted that really, really wet look, you let it sit for 15 minutes and do it again.
Okay, that half of the hood is done. I'm gonna work toward me now, as you can see. Ivan, there are just times when you discover the magic combination. Like I don't talk like this every time we detail a car. Like,
No.
This paint looks insane.
It does. We've made a really big difference with a very minimal effort. Nick, it's time for the 5-year ceramic coating.
We got the gloss monster here.
Exactly.
I've got our ceramic coating leveling towel and the standard buffing towel. Not just standard, it's the standard.
Right.
So I like to have 2 different towels, right? Because if I have the same one for both steps, this one, if I wipe off too early, might get a little wet, and I've got the other one to level, and then at some point I get confused, and then this one becomes that way. You get into danger of high spots.
So starting with the hood, I'm overlapping circular motions, and I'm going slightly onto that front fender and slightly onto the bumper.
Now, why are you overlapping onto the other panels?
That way, I'm sure I don't miss the seams. I've seen too many shops where they literally just box it in, and then you have a little line here that's missed. So by overlapping, I'm sure I'm not missing anything.
Let's see, I'm gonna wait for visually about 50% of this to disappear.
Yeah. And on a silver car, it's very, very hard to see. I'm just gonna spread this out a little more. I had a little too much on my applicator up here, so it was very thick. Feeling grabby or slick? It's still a little grabby. You're
Still a little grabby.
Yeah.
We're moving a little too soon.
You're moving liquid around, so never a good thing. Basically, that first towel is just to level, to spread out the excess coating that is in little high spots here and there. And then the second towel is just insurance.
Yep. Yeah, it might take a couple of minutes for this to flash 50% and be ready.
So basically what's happening, the solvent carrier is evaporating away, leaving the coating to cross-link onto the paint. Yeah, you're still a little wet.
Still wet, right?
Yeah. But boy, is it glossy.
It sure feels great under the towel now. I mean, we're not doing anything wrong. It's just,
Yeah. So
let it sit longer if it's meant to sit longer. Boy, it's tough to see it in this light too.
Yeah, definitely.
Too soon, Ivan.
Yeah. I can see the stage lights we have over there. You can really see it well that way. So since we know the setup time is more forgiving today, a little longer than it was yesterday when we were coating, I'm gonna go ahead and coat further, and then I'll help Nick wipe off sections as we go.
Did you do this front fender?
Front fender's all done.
Thanks, sir. Ivan, this is one glossy mother trucker. Is that a saying?
No, but anyways, it's a really glossy little Porsche. We've gotten rid of the swirls, we've gotten rid of that dull appearance, and now we have bright, shiny paint that's protected for at least 5 years.
And this is something that anybody at home could do. Ivan, when we read the gloss reading, the gloss meter at the beginning of the detail, what was it at roughly?
88, something like that?
Yeah, 88, 89. Check the tape, folks, but we're gonna run it again. We're gonna check the gloss meter right now and see where we're at after all that. Here we go, Ivan.
95.4. Ooh, 95.5.
You're lying.
Actually, it's going up to 95.6.
Wow. So this is the gloss reading after the polish and coating. Ivan, do you have one word to describe how that makes you feel?
Excellent. And we know that this coating gets glossier as it cures. So if we were to see this in a week or so, it'll be probably around 97 or so.
If folks have an opinion about this, what should they do right now?
They should probably watch this video.